Hello, everyone. This is Darcinovia once again doing a stream, and this is my first stream on my new channel. Um, for those of you who do not know why I'm doing a stream on my channel, watch the previous stream first before you watch this one because I don't want to get over everything again in too much detail. Long story short, I was censored. I have a strike on my channel, so to be on the safe side, I'm gonna mainly do content on my second channel. Now, this is something I should have done years ago, but I didn't consider that at the time because all I did was pretty much nerd stuff prior to 2019 when I started to do that certain thing that I'm no longer involved with. I won't name it by name for those of you former viewers of that channel that I will not name. You will know what I'm talking about. I know this will not get as many views as it would on my main channel, but I'll give it time. This is a chance probably to gauge what my real support base is because I may have close to 2,000 subscribers on my main channel, but this channel, it'd be an easy way to find out truly how much supporters I truly have. Hey, what's up, gentlemen? So, yeah, I don't know what this particular topic is going to be this time. I just have a Yosuke from Yu Hakusho thumbnail because it's cool and I agree with what it says. Takes on the barrel of a gun. So yeah, I don't know what I'll talk about. I haven't done any of these kind of streams in a while where I just simply have a conversation. The Black Little Mermaid controversy. I knew I would be asked this. I talked about this 3 years ago. Though most of you who are watching this probably have not watched that stream, and that stream was kind of a mess, if I have to be honest. But fuck. Of all the things to complain about, people are complaining about that. Never mind, I know I'm getting political, but then again, everyone who follows my channel knows by now that I mix politics with entertainment, so there's no sense of sugarcoating it. 20,000 children die every day because of starvation in Africa or whatever disease. Let's just say capitalism kills 20,000 people a day. And people are more concerned with the race of a mermaid. It's fucking ridiculous. I won't have him. I appreciate you having my back. Now, I'll get back to the Ariel thing, but I think I got to address something because people seem to think, before people throw away, oh, Darth Sinovia is afraid to debate. I'm not afraid of talking to people I disagree with. There's a difference between talking to someone you disagree with and they at least acknowledge your points. If you can't actually get people or get yourself to acknowledge what the person you disagree with is saying or acknowledging legitimate grievances, there's no point of having a debate. It's just talking to a brick wall. And talking to a brick wall is not productive. It really isn't. So I'm not going to discourage anyone from talking to people you disagree with. We kind of have to. If we're going to get people to actually see why things are as fucked up as they are, you're not going to solve any problems if you waste your time talking to people that have no interest of listening to you. That's my stance on this whole debate thing. I don't object to talking to people I disagree with. I don't object. As long as they're willing to listen and I listen to them and we acknowledge each other's legitimate grievances and our points, I believe that kind of conversation is something worth having. Because if we stay in our comfortable echo chambers, we're not going to accomplish anything. So I have no problem talking to people I disagree with. Lenin, Stalin, Mao, Che, all these people constantly debated and talked to people they disagree with all the time. They kind of had to. And if you don't do that, you're not a communist. So that's just where I draw the line here. If you're debating with someone that doesn't want to listen or refuses to listen to you, then I'm not gonna fucking bother talking to you. That's just where I stand, because I have better things to do with my time, and I've made it known that my channel is not a debate platform. I really don't like debates because I think online debates are nothing more than spectacle. That's all they are. There's nothing productive to be had in a debate. I was trying to get the guy to actually to see things from me and Stone's perspective. And even though all of us who may not necessarily agree with each other on everything, there's a certain level of respect that is expected from both sides, and respect is a two-way street. If both parties don't respect each other, then there's no reason to have a conversation, because you're not going to be able to win anyone over if both people don't have some form of respect. I'm going to have to revisit. You know what? Actually, sorry for those of you who want me to talk about the aerial thing, this is more important to address at this time. How do you feel about people who say that people who don't like the Democrats are people who can't make decisions about anything? I think those people are very childish, and their politics is basically red and blue. And I think anyone who knows anything about this country, and by the way, this, for those of you who are not part of the United States, you could relate this to your politics as well, your equivalent. We're beyond the red and blue politics. We're beyond that. We should be beyond that. If anyone that's like not at this stage, like beyond Republicans and Democrats, then your politics is very childish, because you can't, just because you like are against one of them doesn't mean you are against the establishment. Republicans are establishment politicians. Same thing with Democrats. And those who say that if you are against both parties, you don't want to do anything, or you can't make decisions on anything, are full of shit. Every signal change in America, what little we've gotten concession-wise, was never done through voting. It was done through fighting tooth and nail for them. The 8-hour workday. We didn't get that by voting. We got that through freaking years of fucking fighting against the police, getting harassed by the police, murdered by the police, arrested, imprisoned. All these things. Nothing we're fighting for happens just simply by voting. Those who basically refuse to get out of the Republican and Democrat paradigm are cowards. They're childish. They're not ready, and never will be, to accept that politics are far more complex than Republican bad, Democrat bad. If you can't get over that, you can't look at objectively that both parties serve the same interests, then you have no interest in fighting for change. That's where I stand on that issue. I'm not gonna. Stone does actually understand what respect is, and because he's been through a lot of stuff, and Stone actually has experience of homelessness, so his patience with people of petty bourgeois mindsets is justified. And we got to understand that people who are born in poverty, who are disabled, who live in the UK, one of the most egregious countries on the disabled, constantly going through reassessments. He lives in a fucking shack. So I'm sorry. I cannot tolerate disrespect towards Stone. Stone is a solid comrade who's done a lot, and I think he deserves respect. Yes, they are. And that's where to start. Every single one of us who rejects both parties are in the middle at some point. But there is no being in the middle because they're both fascists. And what we should be supporting are people, organizations that are willing to help their communities. That's what we should be doing, helping our communities. Because the Republicans and Democrats, neither one of them will save you. Now, as for Jesus, okay, there's so many comments I'm getting. Let's see. Okay, I'm just looking for. Let's see. Oh God, I cannot comment on that. Disney, I wouldn't be shocked Disney does that. I don't know enough about China regarding that to talk about it in depth. So, yeah. Now, okay. Now I want to talk about the Black Mermaid controversy. I'll just say that word in quotations because controversy over a fucking Black Mermaid. I mean, seriously. It's all right. Stone actually. Okay, I'll address this one more time. Stone and I, we've talked a lot for over a year. He actually doesn't disrespect me. It's just it's kind of difficult having two people on stream that one of them has style myalgia and the other, we're both kind of hyper and have a lot of energy and hypersensitive. I guess that's a better word for it. So us interrupting each other is something that kind of happens a lot. He means no disrespect to me at all, or any of the people that actually do streams with me. And yes, I know. But I like to. Okay, now I want to focus on the Little Mermaid controversy because let's be real, it's fucking dumb. Okay, the Little Mermaid in general is a fictional fucking character, and the character's race is a mermaid, for God's sake. I ranted about this over over 3 years ago. Back in 2019, I was doing it in my sister's garage, back where YouTube had the live feature before I knew about StreamYard. And I just basically said a lot of the things I'm about to say now, but now it's more refined. It's just fucking stupid. It's racism, plain and simple. Majority of the fucking people don't give a shit. And not to mention, Little Mermaid's a kid's movie. These racist nerds are complaining about a fucking kid's movie. And it's really disgusting. It really is. Like it's like all these people can go around saying, "Oh, we're not racist," yet why is the Ariel being black? Why is that such a big deal to these people? Because they don't like the sight of fucking women or fucking black people in general. Like, oh, why is it's like to them anything that doesn't feature a cis white male as being political. The entire fucking thing is ridiculous. It's exhausting. This discourse regarding the black Ariel, we're gonna be hearing about it until the fucking movie gets released. Even afterwards, they're not gonna see this fucking movie. It's ridiculous. I could just simply say racism, plain and simple, but it's beyond the Little Mermaid because there's fucking other freaking properties these people complain about. They don't even like the sight of black people in general. They fucking hate it. Like majority of these people are about fucking white supremacists. They fucking hate the sight of non-white people in their fucking movies and their video games and their comics. And I know before someone bring up, oh, but there's people who of color who have an issue with this. People like Candace Owens, Young Ripa, they're they serve the interests of their like white supremacist overlords. I don't fucking care about opportunists and collaborators of fascists have always existed and always will exist as long as capitalism exists. So it doesn't, to these people, it doesn't matter. They're rich. They have all the wealth that they could potentially need. They're petty bourgeois. It doesn't matter that what they do helps incite hatred and violence against their own communities because they don't give a shit about their communities. So sociopathic people like Candace Owens and Young Ripa, when you have them talk about things like this, yeah, and it's disgusting. It really is. It really is disgusting because I know this is something I hate saying this, but representation matters. It does matter. It really does matter. And when they complain about, oh, why don't they do original stories of black people? Why do they have to take our stories? It's like, they were never your stories to begin with, asshole. They were never your stories. They were never your stories. The moment those stories fucking became public for people to read or to watch, it's not your story. It doesn't fucking belong to you. Little Mermaid doesn't belong to you. None of these fucking stuff that you fucking complain about whereas people of color belong to you. It doesn't belong to you in the slightest. And I'm really sick and tired of this discourse because it poisons the well. It really does. Actual conversations cannot be had. And by the way, at the end of the day, there's more important things to talk about. But since I'm talking about entertainment at this point, we can't have actual conversations about anything because the thing that's always gets brought up is it has to do with race in one way or another. And it's the reactionaries that do this. They're the ones that they make it about race. They're the ones that make everything political. It's not the so-called SJWs that make everything political. It's them that make everything political. It's like, and not to mention every time there's fucking like, yeah, no, what you're bringing up right now, Sub Money, is not off topic. It reinforces my point. How every single person who isn't white gets harassed in some way and suffer racist attacks. Like racism and fandom, you cannot separate this. Like, of course, if I even talk about the Star Wars fandom, this will be like another 20 or 30 minutes of me ranting of the Star Wars fandom. So I gotta keep that short. The Star Wars fandom is a hive mind of reactionaries. It's like, it's not like these people don't have the freaking white fucking majority, or whatever you want to call them, in Hollywood, still dominating, still being the cultural hegemony in fucking the West. It's still mostly white people that are mostly fucking in the center focus of film. It's not fucking people of color. It's not Asian people. It's white people. You have a little bit more non-whites in fucking fiction, and suddenly these people lose their goddamn minds because they can't stand the idea of non-white people simply existing, or women in general. They despise them. You want to know what they hate more than a white woman? A black woman. That's why they fucking get attacked as hard as they do. Like, the misogyny and racism go hand in hand. You cannot separate the two. I don't really care about any of these Disney live action films. Honestly, cast whoever they want. It doesn't fucking matter. They don't like diversity. In fact, if the internet had existed in the 1980s and 1990s, they would have attacked everything that is considered a classic as well, because these people cannot stand the very idea of fucking even minor form of politics being brought up, even though majority of the films they bitch about being woke or being bad, their politics are is fucking milk toast at best. And yeah, these people that are like, oh my god, well, I'm such a huge fan of Token, yet cherry picks a lot majority of the stuff Token writes. Oh, I'm a huge fan of Wheel of Time. Cherry pick, like, has only read like the first few books and doesn't and completely ignores like the diversity of the cultures and the people in Wheel of Time. Oh, fucking complete. Oh, rants about how fucking Witcher is woke, despite the fact the author of Witcher doesn't give a fuck if they cast people of color in his series. It's like these people don't even care what the author thinks. They have no respect for anyone. They view artists. They view artists as nothing more than their only purpose is to entertain. That's all they view them as. They're not human beings. They don't have their own individual thoughts. I mean, George R. Martin, I have my criticism towards the man for not completing Winds of Winter or not releasing it, but he basically said something that was relatively reasonable, and you guys can look it up. He was basically saying, if you don't like something, don't watch it. It's like, and they fucking attacked him, called him woke, called him an SJW. Like, they even attacked, House of Dragon for some fucking reason because it's woke. It's like, woke has no meaning at this point. If you really think about it, woke is just another dog whistle for fascists to use for women, people of color, Jews. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if they start complaining about a Jewish person being cast in a movie in the future. I wouldn't be shocked because anything that isn't fucking part of the Aryan race is considered fucking blasphemy to these people's eyes. I can't promise about if I'm gonna review Andor. I'll watch it and give my thoughts about it. Just like I still have yet to give my thoughts on Kenobi in depth, anyway. So I'm not gonna promise that right now. I mean, it's really pathetic that the discourse, the most controversial thing right now, is not the most controversial thing, but it seems like that. Like, they complain about a children's movie. They complain, they bitch endlessly about this thing being woke. Like, oh, this thing is ruined. It's like, wait, how are you not racist? Oh, you show a character, oh, white. Oh, the live action version's black. It's like, how does this ruin the character? Then you have something like Wheel of Time, which is called woke trash by the anti-SJWs. It's like, okay, I've watched the first 5 episodes of Wheel of Time. I don't see anything woke about it. What makes it woke? Oh, because you have like black actors playing like Naive, Egwene, and Perrin. Is that the fucking reason? Or you have fucking people of color in Wheel of Time. It's so ridiculous, despite the fact they exist in the actual source material. I know. I know. It's like, what? It's like, how could any right wing or like watch Star Trek, hear some of the stuff that's said in those shows, especially I'll use TNG. Like when you talk about, oh, we no longer aspire for the acquisition of wealth. How do you get more communist than that? It's like, fucking Christ, man. Star Trek isn't communist, but not in the slightest, because they're nowhere near communist. They're struggling to get there. But how can you like hear some quotes from Picard talking about the acquisition of wealth? We no longer desire it, and say that Star Trek is not fucking progressive. Like, that's one thing I'm getting sick and tired of reactionaries trying to rewrite history. Star Trek was never progressive. Star Trek will always left it to the viewers to interpret. That's bullshit. No. Bullshit. Bullshit. No. No. Star Trek took strong stances against right-wing totalitarianism, fascism. It took a strong stance against greed and corruption. Star Trek is everything that the right is against. Everything. Fucking, they even make a complete mockery of fucking libertarians and the characters of the Nogri. I like the Nogri episodes of Deep Space Nine. I think they're some of the funniest episodes of Star Trek. I think they're extremely fun. I mean, they basically poke fun at the complete absurdity of libertarians and their society. It's like they don't endorse capitalism in any Star Trek iteration that I've been exposed of. I don't know about the newer Star Trek series. I haven't watched anything post Voyager, but I can tell you that Star Trek has never been anything but like anti-capitalist. I'd read the books, but though they're long as hell. Oh yeah, I remember fucking like I remember it's like remember J.K. Rowling, people, and I can't believe I'm ranting about this. Like TERF from TERF Island is what Stefferly Sterling would call Britain. Like they hated J.K. Rowling because she was supposedly woke because she revealed certain things about characters or Dumbledore being this, Dumbledore being that, or whatever. And then suddenly she goes on an trans tirade. It's like, oh my God, these people love J.K. Rowling. They simp hardcore for her. It's like, what the fuck? It goes to show you like how the right, they will hate someone until they say that they say something that mildly progressive, and I say mildly, and then the moment they start saying politics they agree with, they fucking simp hardcore for them. Remember, like Gina Carano, how much they hated her and when Mandalorian first started. I can't believe I have to bring this shit up, but the moment she said like something transphobic or mocked like trans people's pronouns, she suddenly became their darling. It's like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck? Seriously, what the fuck? So you love J.K. Rowling now that she's transphobic, or you know she's transphobic. She's just like you, and a borderline and an anti-Semite, or will deflect her anti-Semitism. It's like these people. There isn't a single fucking person that they don't simp for as soon as they come out as being like freaking anti whatever they're anti. It's ridiculous. I remember there was this guy on Facebook I had a debate with regarding Rings of Power, and he was like acting like all oppressed because fucking nerds have this narcissistic like a fucking complex of being oppressed. Oh, I am so oppressed. Like, oh my God, it's so fucking oppressive. Like, blah, 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 blah. It's like, that's ridiculous. Like, ridiculous to claim that you're oppressed. Like, when I basically told the guy to grow the fuck up, this guy was in his 40s, by the way, like over half a decade older than I am. I told him, like, I've got bullied for being learning disabled. Like, grow the fuck up. You're nothing special. And the guy blocked me. The guy blocked me, which is hilarious. The guy fucking blocked me. A guy that I talked to for years, all because I told him to grow up. Now, to address what you said, Attack of the Menace. I'm not watching anything new Star Trek until I finished everything pre Kurtzman. And it's taking a while. These series are fucking long. Like Voyager is over 100. I'm over halfway through Voyager now, so it's gonna be a while. So yeah. Yeah, and it's the mindset that all fascists have. Their enemy is weak, yet they're mighty at the same time. It's like you can't be both. It's contradictory. Well, I told him that I've been bullied for being learning disabled. So yeah, I brought up real shit, a real reason for being bullied, and he was trying to tell a sob story that he was bullied for being a fan of Star Wars. It's like, oh, boo-hoo. I was bullied for fucking being a fan of anime in high school. I was bullied for being a weeb, which I think I probably deserved that to some extent because weebs are fucking cringe. I was fucking bullied for being a weeb. So, yeah. I don't fucking feel bad for any of these nerds. It's okay if you like the Revan novel. It's all right. I don't care about Avatar 2. Now, as for what you said earlier about the article of J.K. Rowling not being transphobic, I'm not going to bother reading that article considering you don't fucking constantly cite fucking people that are transphobes or cite a open fascist about in a documentary of what is a woman or trying to speak for lesbians when you yourself aren't a lesbian or constantly make trans people out to be rapists if you're not transphobic. No, I'm not going to read an article because her transphobia is out in the open. Anyone that denies she's transphobic is reaching at this point. It is reaching. It really is reaching. No, being a weeb is not liking anime. Being a weeb is me being obsessed with Japan. I thought Japan was the best shit ever. I thought Japan was like a paradise. I thought God, I'm cringing to saying this shit. I really am. I thought Japan was a better country than America, which I don't know. I can't say it is. I thought, because weebs think Japan is like some sort of utopia when it is anything but that. But hey, I was a stupid fucking teenager who had an obsession with anything Japanese. Yeah. The weeb phase of my life is the most cringy part of my life, it's the reason why I hate weebs as much as I do, because I myself was a weeb. That is so funny. Weebs have always been far right. They've always been fascists. You want to know how? I did a post last night on the character of Itachi Uchiha from Naruto. Try to tell an Itachi fanboy that Itachi was nothing more than a war criminal and a fascist, and see how they react. Like you have them going through a bunch of fucking essays saying, "Oh, Itachi wasn't evil. He was following orders." Blah 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 blah. The same justification that Nazis did during the Nuremberg trials. Like, just ask a Itachi fanboy how they feel about the Uchiha genocide, and that's how you could spot a fascist and anime fandoms. Like, Itachi fanboys are literal fucking fascists. Ask how Attack on Titan's fans feel about the ending of Attack on Titan. There is so many fucking fascists. I was once an Itachi fanboy, so I can tell you how fucking much of Nazis they are. Well, that was before the retcon that tried to make Itachi more of a sympathetic character. Like, before, when Itachi was first introduced to Naruto, Itachi was introduced as a villain, not a fucking sympathetic figure that got rehabilitated later on. I personally despise Itachi because the character, because by that point the story went out of its way to justify what Itachi did. It really did justify what he did, because it would have been worse if the Uchiha clan like actually justifiably fought against Konoha. So yeah, I still fucking despise what the character represents. It's gross. It's gross. Like, even justifying a genocide in any way. And Itachi is a perfect example of genocide denial or genocide justification. Like, if you could like look at the Uchihas in any context, like them as the Jews or whatever, and you'll just see, yeah, this is some pretty Nazi shit. Naruto is. I cannot. It's one of the reasons I can't even bring myself to enjoy Naruto, because the fascism in that series is so in your face that it was in there long before Itachi. It's just Itachi, like this, like kind of makes you think about, this is a fucked up universe. I don't care about them. I've made my point, like I think a few streams ago, that I fucking can't stand them because I think it's like, oh, look at me, look at me, look at me, look at my collection, look how huge my collection is. Yeah, fuck it. I despise those kind of videos. I cannot. I'm not into horror movies, but yeah, Itachi was cooler before the retcon. Because let's be honest, it was an obvious retcon. It's like, oh wait, Sasuke got his revenge. How the hell can I continue? Can I keep this character relevant? Let's retcon his entire backstory and make it so, no, actually, Itachi is actually misunderstood. He actually did it to protect his brother because of the blah 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 blah. It's like, I don't care what's funny about Naruto haters, which I'm basically just gonna call them butthurt, like former fans who didn't like how the series was going at the time. So they just attacked the series for like everything and anything, homophobia, every little thing, but they never attacked the series for its overt fascistic themes. The overt patriotism, the adherence to the will of fire, the cult of death, dying for the nation. Like, everything about Naruto, there's like a plethora of criticisms of Naruto you could fucking levied that is far more interesting than simple, oh, this series is poorly written, which it is, or oh, Naruto is fucking gay. It's like, yeah, well, whatever. Like, there's so many good reasons to hate this series, and the fascistic evidence about Naruto is the main reason I fucking hate it. Because the series is gross. It really is gross. Like, the more you think about it. Like, the actual people that actually wanted to fight for change and help and are the fucking bad guys. And those who actually wanted to, like, uphold the status quo are the good guys. If you really think about it, Naruto is essentially the anime equivalent of Harry Potter. I hate Harry Potter. I hate it with a passion at this point. I may watch it at some point out of curiosity, but I'm not interested in Avatar 2. I still don't like it. I still despise Itachi for what he is. Fire Emblem? Which game? Three Hopes and Three Houses would require a long video because of my long analysis on the game's stories. But it's from haters who one of the things I saw from the haters of Naruto back in 2010, 2011, like former fans. I would call them former butthurt fans. We're just looking for an excuse to attack the series. Like, I get you hate Naruto for those people, but majority of the hate that Naruto got were from former fans who were butthurt that the series did not go the way that they wanted. I'm a former fan, and I despise what the series is because ideologically the series is morally reprehensible. The story is poorly written. The final arc is so fucking cringe. And we had one of the best villains in shonen history, I thought, at the time I read the fucking series. Then he had him go out like a punk. It's like, yeah, Naruto, there's just so many other reasons to like criticize the series, to like criticize it in depth. Like, oh, this series has some, its world building is, it doesn't make any sense considering how often it contradicts itself. Like, part 1 of Naruto, I feel like was good in terms of its building blocks. Shippuden, it could have been something incredible, but of course Naruto went in a pro-fascist direction, inadvertently so. Like, part 1 was the perfect building block and this is why fucking as I agree with One Piece fans that Naruto is trash. And when you compare like One Piece in general, I know not everyone here has read the manga here, but I have. One Piece is great. The world building is great. The characters are great. This series, I feel like, can be enjoyed from an anti-fascist perspective because there's nothing in One Piece I can think of that endorses fascism, eugenics, genocide. One Piece criticizes all of these things. That's why I love One Piece. I think One Piece is a great series that I don't think gets enough credit, unfortunately, in the West. Of course, the far right will like ignore everything about One Piece that goes against their entire ideology, like colonialism, fascism, hell, the Straw Hats helping in like many revolutions, like throughout the series. Like, One Piece, at the end of the day, is an capitalist story. It's anti-fascist. And I don't know how you could look at the world government and not see them as an allegory for global fascism. A World War II in space. I got a series, World War II in space. It's called Mobile Suit Gundam. The original series. That is World War II in space. Of course, it also has a mixture towards other stuff. Vietnam as well. If you want a good anime that doesn't glorify war, that basically criticizes both sides, you can't go wrong with Mobile Suit Gundam or Zeta Gundam. Because it doesn't actually glorify one side or the other. At least the original doesn't. Like, the Zeon are portrayed as like bad, but there's good people in there. The Federation's also portrayed as bad. And the series goes out of its way to basically show that both sides are corrupt, that there is no good guys in this war. But Mobile Suit Gundam was essentially a inter-imperialist conflict. A fascist and an even worse fascist. And then Zeta Gundam goes around and goes even deeper into this. And Double Zeta Gundam basically showcases what happens when a organization that once started off as a revolutionary org gets co-opted by the very thing that it was fighting against. And then starts counterattack. You see it be a shell of what it formerly was. The AU becoming basically the titans of a human face. It's like the original Gundam series, at least that universe, is, in my opinion, reason why it's my favorite Gundam continuity is simply because it actually showcases like why liberalism is the enemy of revolution, and why fascists will co-opt the ideas of communists in order to push their fascistic agenda. Of course, I'm just a heads up. Mobile Suit Gundam, the original, and Zeta Gundam those animes are over 30 plus years old. Mobile Suit Gundam 40 plus. And the animation will be really old. But if you don't want to watch 42 episodes, you could always watch the movie version of the original series. Zeta Gundam, I'd watch the TV series version because the movie version cuts out too much of the story. Double Zeta, you can skip it if you wish, though it gives further context for Char's counterattack if you want to understand Char's motivations. Char's counterattack, a great film in its own right. Yeah, that's just what I would recommend doing. And I don't know zombie comic manga I could recommend. I've been talking about anime for almost 20 minutes now. But yeah, One Piece can't be woke. The protagonist is a dude. Yeah. Oh, and here's another thing that's interesting. Did you know these people will totally not know this because the author of One Piece, I guess his word doesn't matter. Did you know, according to him, the Straw Hats would be multi-ethnical? Don't believe? Okay, Luffy would be Brazilian if he was a real person. Nami would be Swedish. Robin would be Russian. Sanji would be French. Brooks would be German. Usopp would be African. Of course, Frankie would be American. And I forgot what Chopper would be. But for the most part, majority of the crew would not be fucking white. A good chunk of them. And not to mention, One Piece, some of the most powerful characters in the series are women. It's ridiculous. Some of the most powerful characters in the manga are women. Some of them are even stronger than Luffy. But oh wait, no. It's not woke. Mind you, Gundam, there are multiple continuities in multiple universes. What I was talking about is the Universal Century, the original Gundam timeline. There is multiple series. Of course, unfortunately, like all things capitalism does, in other iterations of Gundam, you do have the Zeons kind of get glorified in various stories, in mangas, video games. So Zeon kind of is portrayed in a more positive light. Well, the Lost Cause myth is a very popular myth with fascists. So I'm just saying that there are some sus stuff, but if we ignore that and just just focus on the original stuff, there's a lot of incredible material in Gundam. A lot. Of course, I've been mainly talking about entertainment in this stream, but you know what? I don't talk about it that much these days, simply because of all the politics that's been going on. I'm actually shocked the right-wingers are not talking about the fucking, except Ben Shapiro or Ben, I can't make my sister, I'm sorry, I can't make my wife wet Shapiro. Fucking, he praised the British Empire. It's one thing since I'm solo, I could talk about this. I don't get how Americans could actually praise the Queen of Britain. I don't understand how Americans could simp so hard for the royal crown. It's didn't we actually fought a revolution? Well, supposedly fight a revolution to free ourselves from the fucking crown. Didn't we actually do that? Why the hell are we did we give a shit about the fucking Queen? I know yesterday it was her funeral. I don't know. I was working. Why the fuck do we give a fuck about the Queen? Why do Americans give a shit about the Queen? Why do Americans still care about the fucking Queen? I understand if you're in Canada, because Canadians are kind of cuckish when it comes to fucking the British Empire, but America? Come on! You Americans, have some self-respect. You fought a revolution, kind of, I guess, to free yourselves from the royal crown, yet you fucking, we give our condolences to Britain. It's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? What the fuck is wrong with you? What the fuck is wrong with you? I mean, seriously, the Queen of England fucking doesn't rule over America. In fact, I have a question. Why do we still give a fuck about the royal family in general? I mean, seriously. Why do we even give a fuck? Like, I don't know why I even have to even talk about this. Fuck the royal family. Fuck the monarchy. Fuck the monarchy. A bunch of spoon-fed people that have never worked a day in their lives, and we're supposed to give a fuck about these people? We have to show respect. Oh, Darth Sinovia, you mustn't talk so bad about the Queen. It's not the time. Fuck the Queen. Fuck the Queen. You know what? I hope she's in hell with Margaret Thatcher. I hope she's burning with an Esho Pinochet. I hope she's burning with Hitler. Like, fucking fascist bitch. I really do despise the Queen. I really do. Not to mention, her fucking son, Charles, is a fucking pedophile. He's a fucking pedophile. Fuck. I seriously hate fucking Queen Elizabeth. And the right, you worship her. You simp so hard. It's like, why isn't it white people fucking always are the ones that fucking have little self-respect, especially when they come in former colonized territories? I'm sorry, Americans. Queen Elizabeth is not your queen. If you want her, or if you want King Charles to be your king, go to fucking Britain and shut the fuck up, okay? Most of us in the planet don't give a fuck about the royal family. Okay? The royal family is... Fuck the royal family. Fuck the royal family. Fuck the royal family. I don't give a shit if I fucking, rant about fucking, the monarchy. Fuck them. Fuck them. Fuck them. We're 2022, almost 2023, and we still have a monarchy in fucking Britain. Thank God I don't live in Britain, but think about this. Now is the fucking time to fucking talk about the freaking monarchy. It's like, you can't even fucking talk about the monarchy in England without getting arrested. Now, I don't live in Britain, so I cannot comment on it in full detail. But what I've been hearing from, news articles, people who protest against the fucking monarchy got fucking arrested. It's like, oh yes, such a democracy you got there, Britain. It'd be ashamed if it was turned into a fascist dictatorship. Oh wait. Yeah, the monarchy, and any fucking sad and pathetic person that worships the monarchy, kiss my ass. Seriously, kiss my ass. I really don't give a fuck. It's like right wingers are such fucking cucks. They really are fucking cucks, especially in America, that they fucking lick the boots of their former colonial masters. Oh wait, but we have to respect the Queen. We have to respect the Queen. It's like you fucking cowards, you fucking pieces of shit, you cowards. And I don't give a fuck if I piss off the right by fucking mocking these fucking cucks. Cuck. You don't like me calling you a cuck? Stop acting like a cuck. These cucks think they're so much better than the people they call cucks. Yeah, they're the biggest cucks of them all. What kind of cuckery shit is this? Don't you know your own history? Do you not know why fucking America fought against the British Crown? Oh wait, you don't want to know that the British Crown was in that war was kind of the lesser of the two evils, considering your ancestors were butthurt because they couldn't fucking go around and rape and pillaging the indigenous lands like they wanted. So you start a counter-revolution so you could basically do whatever you want. Everything about this country is a fucking lie, America. I mean, the fact that people could still believe in the horse shit that is the American dream is fucking... It's sad. The American dream is such bullshit. Like George Carlin. How many times do I have to quote George Carlin? The American dream is called a dream because you'd have to be asleep to believe it. George Carlin is right then and he's right now that the American dream is bullshit. It's like, how could anyone actually buy the American dream? How? Tell me, how can anyone, like, in their right mind actually believe the American dream exists? The American dream is bullshit. It's bullshit. It's always been bullshit, always has been bullshit, always will be bullshit. I know this is a random rant about the American dream, but you know what? Fuck the American dream. Fuck it. The American dream is nothing more than a lie to make those who simp for this country to actually, like, buy into this nonsense that is the American dream. How can anyone tell me the American dream is real? It's not. It's fake. It's fake. It's fake. It's fake. It's as fake as the fucking these egos of all these people. It's fucking fake. It's like, and not to mention Joe Biden, that fucking crazy guy basically says the pandemic is over. Guess what, Americans? If you need proof that Joe Biden and the Democrats don't fucking give a fuck and they're willing to, like, allow millions of its own people to die, Joe Biden basically said on 60 Minutes the pandemic is over. And not to mention a war with China over Taiwan. It's like, we fucking live in a fucking very dangerous time now. World War III is very, like, it's around the corner, it feels like. Like a war with China over Taiwan looks like to be real. That could really happen. World War III with Russia over the thing that's going on in Ukraine. It's like we are really in such a dangerous time. Yet these first worldists would rather complain about the most nonsensical shit. And did I talk about nonsensical shit for almost an hour? Yes, I will confess I have. The Declaration of Independence is complete bullshit. I could wipe my ass with the Bill of Rights. It doesn't mean a fucking thing. If you read every single amendment of the Constitution, it is so vague on how it's written that it can be interpreted in whatever way, like, the people in power want it to be interpreted. It's not in depth. It's not, like, very specific what can and can't be done. Oh, freedom of religion. What does that mean? Freedom of religion. It also can mean freedom from religion. But if someone who was religious, if they were to enforce this amendment, they could say, "Oh, freedom of religion means the freedom for my backwards fucking worldview to be enforced on the population. It's my freedom. You're violating my freedom of religion if you won't let me practice Christianity out in the open. Oh, you're violating my freedom of religion by not allowing me to discriminate against gays." It's like, it's vague. There's like no definition in the Constitution in depth of what freedom of religion actually means. Or what about the right's favorite, freedom of speech, the First Amendment? Bullshit. It's not very deep of what freedom of speech actually means. What do you mean by freedom of speech? Because that can be reinterpreted at any time. What does it actually mean? They could actually, like, it could mean anything. I mean, did freedom of speech protect communists back in the Cold War and the first two Red Scares? No, it didn't. Because what about their freedom of speech? What about the free speech of the Black Panthers? What about the free speech of Malcolm X and Martin Luther King? What about their free speech? What about the free speech of people that are protesting for basic human rights? Oh, wait, that doesn't apply. If you look at every part of American history, freedom of speech means whatever they want it to mean. Those with power, that's what it means. It's delusional. If you actually read the fucking Constitution, so much of it is like vague that there's a reason why it's been reinterpreted so many times. There's a reason why, like, it's been weaponized against progressive movements. There is nothing progressive about the Constitution. There's nothing progressive about the Constitution if it doesn't actually protect the people that it claims to protect. Slavery is still legal under the Constitution, by the way. That's something that they won't tell you in school. That's the one thing they won't. If you read, like, the amendment that abolishes slavery, slavery can be used as a punishment. So it's still legal to have slaves in this country. That is so. What American values? What American values? And that's the thing about American values. What the fuck are they? What are American values? Land theft, fascism, war, racism. Fucking, what is American values? What the fuck is it? What does it mean? These are the things that these fucking right wingers fucking cannot fucking tell me. What is the American way? What are American values? Tell me. Because if I reject everything that America is, if I want a world where housing is a human right, healthcare is a human right, food is a human right, clothing is a human right, having actual basic dignity as a human right, having the rights of the marginalized protected, is that really an American value? No. Nothing that I believe in is an American value. So if what I'm doing right now is attacking America and its values, you know what? I am guilty as charged. If you want to say that I'm against American values, guilty as charged. I'm not going to hide what I believe, because unlike you, I'm not going to pretend that I'm fucking not anti-American. I am proudly anti-American. Why? Because anti-Americanism is something every one of us should have. But being anti-American is not enough. Because if you're going to be anti-imperialism, you have to be against all forms of imperialism, not just America. You have to be against China and Russian imperialism, and you have to be against the lackeys of these countries. No country should be exempt from criticism when it comes to imperialism, whether they're partners in imperialism, etc. But again, this will go over the heads of many of these so-called right-wingers. It really will, because they can't understand they can't understand basic things like, oh my God, wait, a communist, an actual hardcore communist, is against both parties. They can't grasp that. The Democrats are anti-American. No. They're as pro-America as you. The Republicans are anti-American for the liberals. No. Republicans are as pro-America as you. To be anti-American, to be truly anti-American, is to be against everything that America is. It's racism. It's manifest destiny. It's not easy living in the imperial core and being against everything that it represents and existing in it. Because everything that you are, everything that America is, you're like fighting a titan. You're like, how many people against a titan? Because that's what America is essentially. Though it's crumbling, it's weakening, because of its hegemony around the world. But with those who live in this country, we still have to deal with the aftermath of the eventual fallout of the American empire. And Americans have no idea what's coming. No idea. Americans want to act tough like all paper tigers do, but they have no idea what's coming. They think that a war with China and Russia will be a walk in the park, when that's not even true. A war of Russia and China will not be a simple war like the others will be. This is a war that will force Americans for the first time in generations to face the consequences of war. Yeah, he's right. He really is. But the thing about war, which I find interesting, is those who are the most pro-war are those who will never fight in a war and never have fought in a war. And those who are the most anti-war are those who have lost family members as a result of such war, or have actually been involved in war. The most pro-war members of the American population are those who will never fight in a war or who have never fought in a war. Because it's so easy to support a war when you are not going to be personally affected by it. If you don't have any family members that are in the military that are fighting in such a war. But that's different when you have your own family member fighting in a war. That's not so different. The stakes are higher. You may not see your family member again because they could be killed. That's what a world war would be like. Americans don't have any idea what that would be like. World War II was mild by comparison for Americans compared to what it was for most of the people of Europe. It was mild. Americans never actually suffered that much when it comes to war. The last time Americans did was during the Civil War. Americans haven't really suffered that much in war in generations. Yeah, you may have had people that may have lost a family member or two during, like in World War I or World War II, but that is nothing compared to, what the Russians went through during the Second World War, where you had people that had their entire families murdered by the Nazis, or you had people in Vietnam who had their entire families murdered by the Americans. It's like what America has done to its enemies. It's horrific. Americans have never experienced that sort of barbarism. They never have. Yeah. I would not fight in a war. I'd go to jail. I don't think they would draft me, but I would go to jail. I'd rather be in prison than die for a country that doesn't care about me, or to murder someone at the other side of the world. I would rather go to prison. Yes, it is. You still have people that are alive in those countries that still have family that still know horror stories from their parents. Yeah, a majority of these people's parents are gone now, but it doesn't change the fact that it wasn't that long ago. But what's really scary is just how World War II feels like a memory now. It really is scary because these people's stories, these veterans, they're dying off. They will not be alive by the end of the decade or the start of the next. They're getting up there in age. Majority of veterans will be dead by the end of this decade. They're dying off. They're like in their late 80s to early 90s, or to late 90s. Majority of these veterans are. These people are getting older, and their stories will die with them. And that is when, that's why I think it's the very concept that World War II is a distant memory. It's becoming that. And the Holocaust is scary because the lessons of the past are not going to be fucking heeded. They'll be ignored. This is why it is important that we learn from history. The Holocaust is happening again in various countries. Israel is committing its genocide against the Palestinian people. America has concentration camps on its own borders. And we're looking to build camps for homeless people. And Canada has its own shit regarding people being able to euthanize themselves because of poverty. we're living some scary fucking times here. Fuck, we really are. World War II is, even though it doesn't seem that long ago, if you really think about it from a historical perspective, most of us have probably talked to someone who fought in World War II, hopefully, or maybe heard some stories, but it won't be that much longer where those people, none of us will be able to hear their stories anymore, except in documentaries or in memoirs. We won't actually hear their personal accounts of what they went through. Holocaust survivors, World War II veterans. Yeah, and when they're all gone, it'll be a distant memory. It feels like a distant memory at this point. It didn't feel that way 30 years ago, because most of us were kids, and most of those people were like in their 60s or early 70s. But now it really does feel like a distant memory. It really does. I mean, give or take like a few give or take like 10 years and they'll all be gone. And by then, World War III will have already started. And what's really scary also about this whole thing is how Russia's, or to say the Soviets' involvement in World War II, what it did, its contributions are being overlooked. It's being basically forgotten. It's being you can't even mention the amount of people that fought and died against the Nazis. People seem to forget it was the Soviet Union that fought and died to save the world from Nazism. While America was funding the Nazis, while America was happily supporting the Nazis, you even had people in America who, to the bitter end, was funding the Nazis. Not saying they didn't help, they didn't do the same for the Soviets, but the very fact is the Soviet Union fought and lost over 20 million of its own people against fascism. And for that, and what do they get in return? Fucking Stalin is basically portrayed as a monster in history, despite the fact that he was one of the people that proposed an alliance against fascism. It was Stalin that is one of the reasons why fucking the Nazis didn't fucking win in freaking World War II. It was Stalin that helped save the world from fascism. But who do we give this credit for? We give it to fucking Winston Churchill. Even though the British didn't even do nearly as much in World War II to resist the Nazis. The British didn't do nearly enough to actually resist them. They were pretty much okay with the Nazis. This is the thing that history, these establishment historians, will not allow to be talked about, on how the Soviet Union, they saved the world from fascism the first time. The Soviet Union is the reason why so much of the Holocaust is why we have so much documentation. Do you think if the Americans had done what the Soviets did, we would have known as much about the Holocaust we did? No, we probably would know even less. The Holocaust is one of the most documented genocides in world history. And the Soviet Union is the reason why a lot of that, paperwork, a lot of the evidence was not completely destroyed. Who knows how much more people the Nazis actually killed? I don't believe they killed 6 million Jews. I believe they killed more than that. But there's no evidence for that. There's none. But consider the fact that the Nazis were responsible for the deaths of close to 100 million, and wouldn't put it past them for that number to at least be double than what's officially recorded when it comes to the victims of the Holocaust. It's the most barbarous genocide in the history of the world, yet the Nazis get nowhere near the amount of scrutiny as the Soviets. Anyone that even says that the Soviet Union was as bad as Nazi Germany is basically siding with Nazi Germany. There is no comparison. The Soviet Union didn't start a war that killed hundreds of millions of people. The Soviet Union wasn't the one that purposely murdered millions of Jewish people, LGBTQ people, gypsies, Poles, Ukrainians, Rami. The fucking, it is disgusting how anyone with any sort of fucking supposedly fucking historical integrity wants to fucking basically say, oh, you know, the Soviets were as bad as the Nazis. And I would be surprised if this is the reason why this channel will get striked. And you know what? Fuck you, YouTube. I'm going to tell the truth because the Nazis were fucking monsters. And the people that actually defend like the Nazis by basically saying the Soviets were worse, to me, are worse. The Soviet Union, yeah, after Stalin, I will not defend what the Soviets did after Stalin. After Stalin's death, Khrushchev, Brezhnev can go fuck themselves. But the Soviet Union under Joseph Stalin fought tooth and nail to save the world from fascism. And in return, all the sacrifice of all those soldiers is basically being watched over and basically giving all the credit to the Americans. Because if history were to teach us who really fought the Nazis and who supported the Nazis, you would have people questioning the very idea of okay, if America didn't really fight Nazism, it supported it. What other kind of shit did this country do? The very soul of America, would be questioned. There's another thing about, I forgot to mention. It wasn't the Soviet Union that dropped the bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. That was America. And what did America do, after fucking World War II? Did it actually do anything to spread democracy? Oh, no, it didn't do any of that. What America did was fucking... Oh, what did it do? What did it do? Oh, no. It threatened people with nuclear fucking fire if it didn't do what it asked. It did anti-communism. It even murdered actual Jewish people who were communists. It did a anti-communist campaign. It didn't fucking do anything to actually make the world a better place. America went out of its way to hold back the wheels of history. And what did America do during the Civil Rights era? Oh, it used the Red Scare to fucking smear civil rights activists. What did America do to the civil rights leader? Jailed them. Killed them. What did it do to people that actually wanted to fight for a better world? What did it do? Oh, well, I'm convinced America had a hand in Malcolm X's death and Martin Luther King and Fred Hampton. Oh, what did America do to try to stop fucking a revolutionary movement from happening in America? Oh, COINTELPRO. It's like everything bad the Soviet Union did during the Cold War doesn't even come close to what America has done. The amount of people that this country has murdered since the start of the Cold War is fucking higher than the Nazis at this point. America, the British Empire, anyone that actually says, oh, the British Empire, it was a benevolent empire that did so much to bring democracy to the world. Yet, what did the British Empire actually do in practice? It did the same thing America is doing now. How many people did Winston Churchill allow to die in the Bengal famine? What about the Irish famine in the 19th century? They're just, if America is evil, but the British Empire makes America look like saints by comparison. It really does. If you just look at the amount of people that the British Empire have murdered since it existed, it's like, holy shit, it's in the hundreds of millions. Nobody can fucking tell me the British Empire was a force for good unless you're a literal fascist. Of course. I'm not by the way, I am not an expert, by the way, on the Holocaust. That's not my area of expertise. Neither is a lot of the stuff I'm talking about is stuff that I've studied throughout the years. I'm nowhere near an expert on any of these fields. It would take me a lifetime to actually be an expert on World War II, the Cold War. There's just so much information that's floating out there. It's what I've studied throughout the years. And of course, if I were to bring up that certain thing that Ukrainian Nazis bring up, which is basically the double genocide myth, which is basically Holocaust denial, I probably would get censored. So I'm not knowledgeable enough about that subject to talk about it. But I'll tell you, that's also used as a way to basically prop up Nazism. I think they would find a way to do it if they could. It's funny, just how people just love the monarchy for some reason. Those, and they have the nerve to tell descendants of colonialism to get over it. Like, one thing I've noticed about white Americans that I find that really angers me. People could basically say, "Oh, Darth Zinoviev, you're white. You have no right to talk about this." I'll bring it up anyway. Indigenous people are told to get over their genocide, get over their land theft, get over how America raped and pillaged their people and their land. Typical right-wing bullshit of might means right. They'll tell black folks who have generational trauma, generational poverty because of slavery, get over it. Yet the moment you tell these motherfuckers 9/11 was not that bad by comparison, they'll lose their fucking minds. Like, oh, how dare you say, oh, the suffering on 9/11 doesn't compare to yours. Fuck you, you fucking, you ungrateful. Go move to North Korea or something if you hate America so much. I'm sorry, Americans, what they went through in 9/11 was nothing compared to what indigenous and black folks have gone through for generations and are still going through. What, a few thousand people dying in 9/11, and suddenly we should like forever and ever and ever and ever and ever think Americans as victims? Really? Give me a break. Give me a fucking break. Give me a fucking break. You know what? I find 9/11 jokes funny. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. Can I have 2 planes, please? Oh yeah. Okay, thank you. Yeah, I need them in the towers, please. Yeah, thank you. I need 2 planes. Thank you. Bye. That 9/11 joke will probably will get this channel strike. Fuck you. I don't care. The point I'm trying to make is white Americans can make jokes about tragedies in other countries, make jokes about, people in Vietnam, being murdered by Agent Orange, or fucking jokes about the atom bomb, or jokes about the Holocaust. Oh, but the moment you make a joke about Americans' tragedy, they lose their goddamn minds. Yeah, true. Here's a tragedy that's worse than 9/11. 9/11, 1973, Chile. With Ernesto Pinochet's fucking government basically murdering more people than that died in 9/11 and caused an entire generation of people to be malnourished. Mass privatization, shock therapy. Like, the Pinochet Constitution still exists in Chile today. Fucking, it would still exist. It still exists today. The fucking Pinochet. And you know how to spot a fascist? Just when you hear people making helicopter jokes or helicopter memes, that's a fascist, because that's what Pinochet did. He put people in helicopters and threw them out. Like he massacred the supporters of Salvador Allende. Fucking, it is disgusting. Like, that is a far worse thing that's happened. The people still are suffering to this day because of September 11th, 1973. Those people are suffering more than the people who suffered on 9/11. Give me a goddamn break. And if I get shit for this, it's like, oh, how dare you, Darcenovia, you anti-American fat piece of shit. How fucking dare you basically compare the suffering of other countries to America. Only American lives matter. Well, that's kind of mask off if you're basically going to say only Americans' lives matter when you really mean only white lives matter, because that's exactly what you're really saying. And you know what? I'm not going to censor myself for anyone. Fucking YouTube. If this channel gets striked, I'll just post on my other channel. This is what's pathetic about these fucking bootlicking Americans. They think they're so much better than everyone else around the world, morally superior. What? Because fucking you live like far away from any conflict that your country starts, any fucking war that you start, any proxy war that you fucking start. And you know what? And here's another thing I'm going to say. 9/11 was an inside job. 9/11 was an inside job. 9/11 was an inside job. Yeah, 9/11 was an inside job. Fuck you. No one's going to convince me that it's not an inside job, because I find it very convenient of all the things that happened in 9/11. Now, I'm not this 9/11 truther from the fucking Alex Jones variety who believes in ridiculous nonsense that the planes were CGI. That's fucking bullshit. And I think everyone who fucking watched the footage live would know I watched the planes crash into the buildings live. I was there. I watched it when it happened. No one's going to tell me that it was fucking CGI. That's fucking dumb. Anyone that actually believes in that nonsense fucking is an idiot. Not to mention, George Bush knew about the attack and let it happen anyway. It's almost as if the U.S. government allowed it to happen so they could justify a war in Iraq. 9/11 was an inside job. I believe it was. And I don't think it's as complicated as a lot of these crazy right-wing conspiracy theorists say it was. The government needed to justify a war, so they allowed the two towers to fall. They wanted to fucking do their fascism. And what better way to get the American people to support it than to basically have an attack on American soil? Like, 9/11 was this generation's Pearl Harbor. That's essentially what it was. And they'll never let us forget about fucking 9/11. It's like, it's been over 20 years now, and people will act like, oh, people have forgotten about 9/11. I haven't forgotten about it. People won't stop fucking talking about it. Americans won't fucking stop reminding the world that 9/11 was the worst goddamn thing ever, even though countries they fucking bombed are far worse than them. It's like, how many 9/11s happen in America every day since 2020? How many people have died of COVID? Oh, wait. No. Out of sight, out of mind. Out of sight, out of mind. Out of sight, out of mind. First world is don't care about fucking their own people being systematically killed by the government because they don't fucking care, because they're fucking a bunch of selfish pieces of shit. Fuck. And the thing that's really fucking grinds my shit is you can't even talk about history anymore without it, because people's like, oh, that's not a safe topic at work. Why? History's history. Like, you can talk about ancient history all you want, but if you talk about modern history, like history in the past 100 years, oh my God, that's too political. That is too political. No. You cannot talk about politics. Wait, I'm not talking about history. The rise of the Nazis, the rise of Mussolini. I can't talk about that. Oh, we don't want to offend the supporters of them. Okay, that's not what actually happens. I'm exaggerating for humor's sake. I know. But seriously, like, America is a culture that is anti-fucking intellectual in every sense. And I don't mean intellectual in the condescending way where, like, you condescend to people who did not have access to the education. No, when I talk about intellectual, I'm talking about the organic or intellectuals, those who've actually gone out of their way to learn on their own, who've actually, did what I did, did most of their learning outside of the classroom. That's the kind of intellectuals I'm talking about. Like, any form of intellectual thought is discouraged in this society because Americans, like, at least the government, doesn't want a country that of educated proletariat. They want Americans, and I'm saying this because it's true, to be stupid, to be docile. That's the main reason why freaking Ronald Reagan, Richard Nixon, and his ilk, why they privatized education, because they knew that if they didn't, they would have a whole generation of educated proletariat. They don't want the proletariat to be educated. They don't want the proletariat thinking for themselves. They don't want the proletariat to, like, reject capitalism. That's why college is harder and harder and harder to access, because people who are from poor income backgrounds cannot go to college, not without getting into debt, because they don't want people like that in the workforce. They don't want workers that can think. They want workers that will just simply do the job, do not question the boss, just do the work, be quiet, do the work, go home, rinse and repeat. That's what they want. Their ideal worker is a one that puts more effort than they should, and with, like, no reward. They don't want workers that can think. It's, in fact, thinking is dangerous at the job. Thinking is something that's not encouraged. It's like, wait, why are we doing this? Isn't it more efficient if we just put this item here? Isn't it more efficient if we actually did it this way? Why are we doing this? This is stupid. Or, like, there's a cart run that's being done, which I'm not going to mention my job, but it's like, wait, why are we getting 6 people to do a cart run that only requires 3 people? This is ridiculous. This is stupid. You're basically having part of the store neglected because for this reason, it's like my job, it's impossible for me to not to have any sort of conversation at this point because, Darth Sinovia, I'm not using my real name here. You used to be so much fun, but you're so serious. I'm sorry if at least for people who actually once enjoyed my content as well. When I did stuff that wasn't political, I'm sorry that I as a disabled man am actually generally concerned about the state of the world, about America's, like, increasingly fascistic, like, tendencies. I'm concerned with things that will actually force me and my family who are disabled in a worse and worse economic position. Oh, I'm sorry that I'm actually paying attention. I'm sorry that I'm actually taking things more seriously. I'm sorry that I actually am a grown up and see the world for what it truly is. I'm sorry that I actually took the actual red pill and actually see how fucked this world truly is. I'm sorry that I'm not a bootlicking fascist that is comfortable with the status quo. I cannot comment on this, but you're not wrong. But the thing is, I don't have that experience, so I don't want to speak for people that I don't have that experience with. I mean, really. And you know what's really funny? This rant that I'm doing right now, these kinds of rants, is exactly how I ranted back in the day. Back before I did Star Wars, back before I did whatever you want to call that channel. I'm not going to mention that name. Back before I did what I'm doing now, I ranted as angry as I am now because this is the thing that attracted my original audience. Unfortunately, my original audience hates my guts. Well, I should say fortunately. Fortunately, or unfortunately, depending on how you look at it, my original audience hates my guts simply because of the direction my channel has been going since 2019. And I have no intention of turning back from it. And if this classic era of Darcenovia style rant gets censored, I'm just gonna laugh. It's like, really, fucking YouTube? You're gonna censor this, but you're not gonna censor my more serious stuff? And this fucking, like, this rant's all over the place. First, I talked about nerd shit. Then I ranted about the Queen, and then I ranted about history, and now I'm ranting about random nonsensical shit. My original audience was, I'm referring to the ones from 2008 to 2014. But I didn't get much of an audience back then. But those audience members still carried over in the Star Wars days up until 2019 is where things went to shit. At least because that's where my non-political stuff, like, this simply can't get views now. I don't mind it. It's not top secret information. It's just my old videos from 2008 to 2012. I deleted them because most of them were cringe. I couldn't stand watching them. And if I thought they were cringe, then my audience thought they were cringe as well. So yeah, a lot of my old videos. A reaction to a video? What the hell are you talking about? What video do you want me to react to? What kind of video would you like me to react to? I don't know. This is not a react channel. Yeah. You know what's really ridiculous about YouTube? I can't use the word cracker on my community tab. Or anything LGBTQ. If I put LGBTQ, I get censored. So YouTube won't let you talk about LGBTQ or put the word in like your community tab, otherwise it gets deleted. You can't do pro LGBTQ without it getting censored. You can't, like, calling someone a cracker gets you censored. No joke. Yeah, it's like what cults are you talking about? Well, I would argue that the fandom menace, I was called the fandom menace, they're a cult. There's, like, you say one thing that goes against their, like, the Lord and Savior, and they'll fucking attack you in droves. It's good. It's a good thing that Geeks and Gamers doesn't actually really look at my channel or just send, because there's nothing he could go after me at this point. It's like, what is he going to do? A communist that actually despises Disney Star Wars? There's no clout to fucking gang by attacking someone like me, simply because, like, communist YouTubers who hate Disney Star Wars are not the kind of people he wants. QAnon is definitely a cult, though I don't know enough about it, but I do know they're fucking psychos. Actually, there's something I want to talk about. Alex Jones. Remember that guy? I don't know how many of you have watched him, but I was once an Alex Jones viewer. I was once an Alex Jones viewer. I'm ashamed to say that, because considering what's been going on with, like, Alex Jones, like, Jesus Christ, Alex Jones, that is a fucking cult. Like the guy, they believe everything that this guy said. That the Sandy Hook, like shooting, like I can't believe there are people to this day that deny that happened. And if I have to be honest, that is disgusting to me. How anyone can deny something so horrific actually happened. I think Alex Jones is a scumbag, but his supporters, Geeks and Gamers being one of his biggest supporters, will defend Alex Jones, and they'll call everyone else pedophiles or whatever. Yet they support a guy that literally has terrorized families for over a decade. Think about that. Think about that for a second. That how could anyone in good conscience be a supporter of that piece of shit? Alex Jones has terrorized these families for fucking over a decade by claiming, oh, their children didn't die, or it was staged, it was fake. Oh my god, like I just don't understand how anyone could fucking like support that. Oh, if we censored Alex Jones, they'll censor the rest of us. Well, you know what? They're going to do that anyway. And I would not be shocked if Alex Jones is a fucking psyop. If Alex Jones is because that guy, it's like I just find him very suspicious. It's like Alex Jones is dangerous. I mean, this guy is like, it's just disgusting to me, Alex Jones. He really is. He really is, and so are his fans. Like, how can you live with yourself being a fan of someone that has basically ruined the lives of the Sandy Hook families, and some of the people in the families live so far away that they can't even visit their own son's grave because of harassment, that they've only known, like one of them has only known like a month or two of peace at most in the 10 years since this has happened. Like, this is sociopathic shit. Like, anyone that actually could defend Alex Jones and his cult, terrorizing these people for so long, you people are fucking sick. Any Alex Jones viewer that supports Alex Jones despite terrorizing families like for decades, over a decade, you sicken me. Yeah, I just don't understand. Yeah, libertarians are the ultimate fucking self-projection. I mean, I would not be shocked if majority of them are pedophiles. I mean, it's no coincidence why they're so obsessed with children. Like the whole reason they're anti-government, probably because the government gets in the way of their pedophilia and their pedophilic fantasies. I mean, God. Of course, I could rant about libertarians all day. It just, Alex Jones is like the perfect representation of their like ideology. And you know what? Alex Jones is probably going to get away what he has done. He's not going to suffer any consequences. The guy is a fucking multi-millionaire. It's like these people, like anyone that basically gleefully talks, like supports Alex Jones. Like, it says you everything you need to know about how all the likes of Geeks and Gamers, the very fact that these people will defend and platform a guy that has literally terrorized an entire family for over a decade, pushing some of them to suicide. You're a fucking piece of shit. You are seriously a piece of shit. You are seriously a piece of shit if you actually platform someone like that. And Sandy Hook, we all know about Sandy Hook. We've heard of it. We've it's like hearing about that with Alex Jones doing that. Just what the fuck? This is old news, I know. It's like, wait, what are you talking about, Darth Sinovia? Sandy Hook. Wait, he did that? Yes, he fucking did. Look up Alex Jones, Sandy Hook, and you'll find so much fucking disgusting shit out there. The families begged for fucking Alex Jones to stop and leave him alone. Leave them alone. He still wouldn't do it. He doubled down. Like, he doxed these people so many times. Yeah, it is. It sickens me. And not to mention, some of these people get actually shot at by Alex Jones supporters. Like, Alex Jones is like a very violent and dangerous individual who actually inspires violence. Yes, he is. And then you had like, there's this like thing I recommend people to watch, like where Abby Martin and I forgot the other guy who interviews someone that talks about Alex Jones. Like, Abby Martin did actually interview Alex Jones's ex-wife. Like, he is such a piece of shit, and it's been confirmed he actually has fucking CP on his computer. Yeah, Alex Jones is a pedophile. It's like, how many of these fucking people do these right-wingers, like, why is it that every fucking person they support, why do they all tend to be pedos? Why does every fucking right-winger, why do they almost always support pedophiles? It would be hilarious if it wasn't fucking so disgusting just how fucking hypocritical they are. It is a literal cult, Alex Jones. Like, the stuff that he says and the stuff he does, like he's like a literal cult leader. The guy has made millions fucking lying about things or taking the truth and fucking twisting it. Alex Jones, I will forever have contempt for him because he has poisoned the well when it comes to alternative media. Because I only follow alternative media. I don't watch Fox News. I don't watch CNN. I don't watch MSNBC. I don't watch any of that shit. I don't watch this pro-establishment garbage. I don't watch any of it. Alex Jones endangers like that kind of stuff, and he's, of course, he's used as a scapegoat in order to like censor this stuff. It's like Alex Jones is always used, and it almost feels like Alex Jones, like, I don't know. The guy is a fucking sellout. The guy is a fascist. He's an authoritarian. Like, everyone fucking like should have opened their eyes when Donald Trump became president. Those who actually still listen to Alex Jones, despite his fascistic tendencies and the Sandy Hook stuff, you know what? It says everything about you. Honestly, if you support Alex Jones, you're no different from the people that you fucking claim to hate. Alex Jones is a fucking pro-establishment fucking hack. He isn't anti-establishment. If he was anti-establishment, he'd be like not pushing anti-Semitic fucking bullshit. He wouldn't be fucking like doing shit which it seems like he's doing on purpose. Can't prove that he isn't. I don't know. The guy is a grifter who does anything for money. He would actually tell the truth regardless of the consequences. The guy does it for money. He's petty bourgeois. That's who Alex Jones is. And you know what? I don't think I got much left to say. I'm losing my voice. So I'll just finish this by saying, fuck Alex Jones. Fuck his supporters. Fuck the British Empire. Fuck America. Fuck the man babies complaining about the black mermaid. And have a nice day, everyone. Red salute.